Well, what a game for the Indiana Fever. I didn't think they were going to win it. I'm sure most of you didn't think they were going to win it, but they came up with the victory against the Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup to get that bag. Every single player is going to be getting around 50 to 60K from this game. That's big time money for these WNBA players that don't make that much. Shout out to the Fever for getting the win. That was an ugly game, though. More than it was a Fever win, I feel like it was a Lynx loss. They just played atrocious in that game. Courtney Williams was 4 for 14. Nafisa Collier was 6 for 18 from the field. Those two players were sucky. The entire team was sucky. They didn't even crack 60 points in this game. A horrible performance from the Minnesota Lynx. As much as I want to praise the Fever, I have to be realistic. The Fever did not deserve to win this game. Now, they deserved to win it in comparison to their opponent, but the Fever did not play exceptional basketball. The Lynx just played trash. This was a horrible showing from what they called the best team in the league. If you're the Minnesota Lynx, you got to be better. Look, a lot of money is on the line for your team. 500K is on the line for your team. You got to put up a better performance than that. That was not the Indiana Fever totally dog walking the Minnesota Lynx. That was the Minnesota Lynx just being trash. Now, the Lynx were still trash, but the Indiana Fever players came up big time. Natasha Howard won the MVP of the Commissioner's Cup, and most of her points came from the free throw line. She got down low into the paint and drew a lot of fouls in this game. That was pretty good on Natasha Howard. Shout out to her with the big victory, but I think Sophie Cunningham was the real MVP of this game because she had timely shots throughout the entirety of the ball game. Ari McDonald was amazing as well. Lexi Hole had her moments, and Kelsey Mitchell threw up a stinker tonight, but the Fever was still able to get the victory despite the bad game from Kelsey Mitchell, and she did help ice the game at the end with the big-time mid-range jump shot. I don't know how the Fever got this W, but they did get the W. This was a game where nobody really expected them to win. This was a game where they were supposed to lose with no Caitlin Clark, but somehow, some way, they come out and get this victory, and it shows the state of the WNBA, man. These are big-time games that everybody's tuning into. A lot of money's on the line, and then you got teams just giving stinkers. You got teams just playing bad. The Fever were playing bad early. The Lynx were playing bad early. Both teams had around 30 points at halftime. It was just a bad game, an ugly game. It was not fun at all. You know, the Fever did get the win. That was fun, and they made some big shots down the stretch, but this was a horrible showing from a Commissioner's Cup game. Why weren't these Lynx players trying? Because I feel like the Lynx could have done a lot better in this game. We all know the Lynx could have won this game by 40 points, so how come they didn't come out with energy and effort? Like, they've been crying about money. We've been crying about getting more money, and then you got an opportunity to make 50K per player, and these players come out trash. The Fever played good in this game. They played good defense. They did swarm the Lynx players, but the Lynx had a lot of good opportunities. Nafisa Collier had a lot of good opportunities. They just missed shots. The Minnesota Lynx are off in La La Land, and I do want to talk about a couple things. First of all, the Indiana Fever interior defense was not bad in this game. They didn't give up a lot of open layups on the other end, which was something that I was really surprised to see, because if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know the Indiana Fever love to give up wide open points in the paint. We've been breaking it out on all of our videos, showing the film. They give up wide open layups every single game throughout the entirety of the game, but tonight you didn't see too much of that. When I was doing the live watch party, I don't think I mentioned it more than maybe 1 or 2 times, referring to the Indiana Fever giving up a wide open layup to the Minnesota Lynx. They played amazing interior defense in this game, so shout out to the Fever for that. And the offense for the Fever was trash, but they were able to get out in transition and get a lot of easy buckets, which is how they ended up scoring up to over 70 points in this game. The offense was bad. The play calls were bad. Stephanie White is a bad coach offensively. Don't think anything has changed. It was still a bad game, and if you play against a Lynx team that is actually on their game, that is actually trying, this Fever team is getting cooked. I mean, it was not the best showing from the Indiana Fever. Don't get it twisted, but they were able to get the win because the Lynx missed shots enough to where the Indiana Fever were able to get out in transition and get easy buckets, and the Lynx also were playing bad defense, so their offense was trash, their defense was trash, which allowed the Indiana Fever to get a lot of easy buckets. It was not a one-man show on the Fever, though, which I really like about this game. It wasn't Kelsey Mitchell save us. It wasn't Lexi Hole save us. It wasn't Sophie Cunningham save us. It wasn't Natasha Howard save us. It was everybody collectively coming together, winning this game. Ari McDonald, once again, was great in this game. Kelsey Mitchell, even though she had a bad game, she showed up and made big-time shots down the stretch. It was really a feel-good win for this Indiana Fever team, despite the fact that it was an ugly performance for the Fever along with the Lynx. It was an ugly performance for both teams, but you like to see the Indiana Fever coming out on top here, and this can give you some momentum. Now they're feeling good. They got a lot of money in their pocket. Maybe these players are going to reach their stride. Look, Sophie Cunningham having a big game today is bigger than you think. Her being 3 for 5 from the three-point line tonight is bigger than you think, because she has been clanking a lot of her threes of late. If she can get into a groove of making three-point shots along with Lexi Hole, and they can both be giving you 4 to 5 threes per game, that would change everything for this team. That is doable. That's what you signed those two players for. But lately, you haven't been seeing that from them. But if you can get 4 to 5 threes per game from Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hole combined, that is 15 points in a game that can change everything. You need that from those two players. You also have Ari McDonald continuing her good play. She's just been great. She's been making three-point shots. She's been getting that low into the paint, cutting back door, making the right passes. She makes amazing reads defensively. She's always getting into other players' grills. She is an amazing player. She's great on the Indiana Fever. I'm glad we have her. Lexi Hole was also great. She didn't play too much in this game. For some reason, they had her on the bench for the majority of it, but hey, the Fever got the win, so I'm not complaining about it. And she played also great defense tonight as well. She helped the Fever win. Kay got a lot of minutes, Michaela Simpson, and I do like the fact that they're getting her minutes But I do think she definitely needs to work on her interior defense just a little bit. She's good at getting blocks, but once again, she doesn't fix all the problems for this team. You didn't see it too much in this game, but Michaela Timpson is very skinny. She's very frail. So we've been talking about getting Michaela Timpson in the game, but there have been plays that we have seen Michaela Timpson playing interior defense, and it's not working out well because she's still small. I don't think Michaela Timpson is going to fix all the problems. Having her out there definitely helps. She's definitely a positive on the court, but they still need a bigger player, a bigger size down there if you're the Indiana Fever to stop these players from getting wide open layups at the cup. Once again, tonight you didn't see too much of it, but I think that was more of a Lynx blemish than it was a Fever victory. And Aaliyah Boston was also 5 for 15 from the field in this game, and if you guys have not figured it out yet, she does not play well when Caitlin Clark is not out there. Caitlin Clark has that pick and roll at the top of the key with Aaliyah Boston. Off the pick and roll, two defenders go with Caitlin Clark, allowing Aaliyah Boston to have a wide open lane. With no Caitlin Clark, there's none of that. You can totally focus on Aaliyah Boston down low in the paint, and she is not able to get good looks without Caitlin Clark. She have a good game here and there, but for the most part, when Caitlin Clark is not out there, Aaliyah Boston is just not good. And her and Kelsey Mitchell did not have good games today. They combined for a whopping 11 for 31 from the field, but I like to see them still being able to get the victory despite the fact that their star players were not good. Caitlin Clark didn't even play. Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell didn't really play well, but the Fever was still able to get the victory. But once again, I'm still not too excited about the win because more than it was a Fever win, it was a Lynx loss. The Lynx was just trash in this game, and if the Lynx would have played a little bit better, they would have won the game. And if you really examine how bad the Lynx really played in this game and then compare that to the fact that they only lost by 15 points, it does say a lot. Like, the Lynx really should have won this game. They really played trash. They had opportunities, and the Fever just wanted it a little bit more. I'm still confused as to why the Lynx didn't show up for this game. You had $500,000 on the line. I'm not sure why they weren't playing hard. I'm not sure why they weren't going for all the loose balls. I'm just not sure why Nafisa Collier didn't look to attack a little bit more in this game. But hey, they ended up losing the game, and the Fever ended up winning, so you can't go back and change the past. Big time win for the Indiana Fever. Big time confidence boost for this team, and I do think when Caitlin Clark comes back, this team can make noise in the playoffs. If you continue having this kind of momentum, Kelsey Mitchell gets back into a groove. You have Aaliyah Boston getting into a groove because Caitlin Clark is out there, and then Sylvie Cunningham and Lexi Hull can give you some threes, and then you still got Ari McDonald, you got KK, and if Natasha Howard continues to draw fouls and get to the free throw line and actually make her free throws, this team can win a series in the playoffs. They can win a couple series in the playoffs. So I think they're going to be a championship team. Not at all. I think they still have a lot of problems, and even though they got this win tonight, once again, if you watch the game, you know it was not all sunshine and rainbows. Maybe I need to go ahead and do a film breakdown for you guys tomorrow if you didn't watch the game, because I really want to let you guys know this was not sunshine and rainbows. Don't get too excited from this win, but hey, they got the victory. A win is a win, so I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, if you watch the box score, it wasn't what you thought it was. So this is not a game you're looking at where you're saying the Fever are now championship contenders because they beat the best team in the league. Like, it wasn't even like that. It wasn't even a game where they showed it out. It was a sloppy game for the Fever, and they kind of won by default because the other team didn't even try. That's all it really was. The other team didn't try, so the Fever were able to get handed a victory. But still, once again, a win is a win, y'all. A win is a win. The Indiana Fever came up with a big victory today. So shout out to the Indiana Fever for getting this win, and hopefully when Caitlin Clark comes back, we can continue this momentum. But as my concluding point in this video, I want to say that in the WNBA, anything is possible. This game shows it. None of these teams are that good basketball-wise. None of these teams are that connected basketball-wise. Every single team has their weakness, and all these teams are bound to have bad games. Even the best of the best in the league are bound to miss layups. Every team misses layups. No team is unbeatable in the WNBA. It's not like the NBA. They are not that tight when it comes to their habits. Any team can be beat so long as you come out and win that game. That's the beauty of the WNBA. It's a little bit different from the NBA. In the NBA, a good team is always going to be a worse team. You always have your exceptions, but 99.9% of the time, the team that has a better record is going to win the game. A team that has 10 losses on the season is going to beat a team that has 30. More than likely, it's going to happen because the good teams have great habits. In the WNBA, good teams don't have great habits. In the WNBA, good teams still have their problems. Good teams still miss layups. Good teams still aren't connected in the way that NBA teams are connected. So every single game is really up in the air. There are games where the Indiana Fever lose where we thought they should have won, and there are games where the Indiana Fever win that we thought they should have lost. It's not just the Fever, it's every team in the league. All these teams are upsetting other teams. You see the Valkyrie upsetting all these great teams. It's just what it's like in the WNBA. So even though you have a lower skill level, it does make for more unpredictable outcomes in this game, which is pretty cool. So I'll give that game its props, even though this was an ugly performance. I did not really enjoy watching this game, but I am pleased with the fact that the Indiana Fever came up with the victory, and I love to see all of our players getting a whole lot of money. That's pretty cool, and hopefully they can spend it well, have some fun, go out to eat. That's super sick. Shout out to Natasha Howard once again. Sylvie Cunningham was also amazing in this game. Ari McDonald too, and that's where I'm going to sign off, y'all. I will get back with y'all soon. Maybe I'll make a film breakdown if you guys want that, but you got to let me know if you want it, and then maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to be signing off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I certainly did. Thanks to everybody who's in the stream in the venue. We were having a lot of good times in the live stream. Shout out to to everybody who was there. Shout out to everybody who donated. And shout out to Matthew once again. Matthew's a legend. If you know, you know. But yeah, now we know about the fever. And now you guys know that I've said everything I needed to say. I'm going to sign out for you guys. Peace out.